गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना जमुनातीरावनचारी जमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravajakracharya Ashtotara Shishimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakracharya Ashtotara Shishimad, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj ki. अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की. नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की. श्री वृंदावन धाम की. श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की. श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की. श्री श्री गौर निताय की, श्री श्री कृष्णा बलराम की, श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर ललित विशाखा की, श्री नाम संकीर्तन की. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can everyone see the shlokas properly?
Yes.
Okay. Āpūryamāṇam Āpūryamāṇam acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ samudram āpaḥ praviśanti yadvat tadvat kāmayam praviśanti sarve śāntim āpnoti na kāma-kāmī āpūryamāṇam acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ samudram āpaḥ praviśanti yadvat tadvat kāmayam praviśanti sarve śāntim āpnoti na kāma-kāmī āpūryamāṇam acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ samudram āpaḥ praviśanti yadvat tadvat kāmayam praviśanti sarve śāntim āpnoti na kāma-kāmī. Anyone would like to
āpūryamāṇam णमचलप्रतिष्ठम्
अपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम्
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
तद्वत् कामायां प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
शान्तिमापनोति न कामकामी
शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
āpūryamāṇam acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ
अपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम्
samudramāpāḥ praviśanti yadvat
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
tadvat kāmājan praviśanti sarve
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
śāntim āpnoti न kāma-kāmī
शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी अपूर्यमाणम् अचलं प्रतिष्ठम् समुद्र आपा प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी अपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापा प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. Anyone else? Āpūryamāṇam, always being filled. Acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ, steadily situated. Samudram, the ocean. Āpaḥ, waters. Praviśanti, enter. Yadvat, as. Tadvat, so. Kāmā, desires. Yam, unto whom. Praviśanti, enter. Sarve, all. Sa, that person. Śāntim, peace. Āpnoti, achieves. Na, not. Kāma-kāmī, one who desires to fulfill desires. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. You can repeat after me. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. This is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna-conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material needs. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna-conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord, and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires, and therefore they are in perfect peace. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So before we start explanation, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas present here and all the senior devotees. I'd like to offer my humble obeisances unto my Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and to my father, my mother, my parents, as well as I want to thank Radhika Mataji for inviting me to speak on Bhagavad Gita. Although I'm not qualified to sit here in the asana in front of all of you, but still following in the orders of my Guru, he has said that whenever I speak on Bhagavad Gita, I should just repeat what Srila Prabhupada has said and the previous acharyas. So I'm just going to repeat what they have said, and if I make any mistake, please forgive me. Thank you. So it's interesting, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the Krishna conscious person, he has no inclination for sense gratification, but even though the desires are present. So just because we are Krishna conscious doesn't mean there are no desires. In the Mayavadi philosophy, they explain that one should completely have a void. We should cut off all desires because desires are the root of suffering. But in Krishna consciousness, we explain that it's not possible to take away your desires, but a Krishna conscious person dovetails the desires into for Krishna, and therefore those desires become spiritualized. We have many examples, like anger is dovetailed by Hanuman in the service of Krishna, of Sri Ramachandra, and so many instances like that. Lust is converted into prema, pure prema bhakti by the gopis, and it is purified and used in the service of Krishna. So like that, all the desires one by one, if we use it in the service of Krishna, they can be dovetailed. And that's explained later by Rupa Goswami, called Yukta Vairagya. But before that, I would like to say a little bit what Prabhupada said in one of his lectures on this verse. So Srila Prabhupada said that a materialistic person, he has his desires. So that's a given. Every materialistic person has certain desires. Some people want to attain a lot of money, wealth. Some people want to have a lot of fame, power. Some people want to have, nice food, a nice car. They want to have a lot of, fame people around them. So there's unlimited desires, and those desires are never ending. But suppose he is doing some business, he is getting money. So he fulfills his desire in a materialistic way. But a Krishna conscious person, suppose he is doing in the same way, he is also planning or doing something after for Krishna consciousness. So these two different spheres of activities are not on the same level. So a Krishna conscious person does not stop all the activities. Like Arjuna was saying later on in the Bhagavad Gita, he wanted to just stop everything because, he was not happy with the situation he was put in. But Krishna, it was explaining that you don't stop your activities. Whatever is your duty, you continue doing that, but you do it in the service of Krishna. So even though the work may seem the same, the materialistic person and the Krishna conscious person, but it's the consciousness, when you're doing it as a service for Krishna, the intention, that's what changes the effect. And that's what changes the person, whether he's doing it in Krishna consciousness or materialistic. And if you do it in a materialistic way for selfish reasons, it binds one again to the material bondage and creates more suffering. Whereas when you do it as a service for Krishna, Krishna takes care of the end result. And that's something that the devotee doesn't have to worry about. He just has to act. So this is explained by Rupa Goswami, of course, and he explains that it's called Yukta Vairagya. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjitah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. So when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. So that's the difference. Are you doing it, are you attached to the result, or are you doing it with detachment? And with detachment means surrendering the results to Krishna. Then you're above possessiveness. You're not possessive for that particular result. And that possessiveness, that's what causes the suffering. So Srila Prabhupada says one should not be so attached to the material opulence, but material opulence may be accepted in the Krishna conscious movement to facilitate the propagation of the movement. In other words, material opulence may be accepted as yukta vairagya, that is, for renunciation. So a person in Krishna consciousness, he may accept wealth, but because he is using it in Krishna consciousness, that person is actually a true renunciate, not the person who just goes up into the forest and gives up everything, because he still may have desires and he is using that selfish desires for his own benefit, even up to liberation. That is still a selfish desire. But for a true renunciate is able to accept everything that's given by Krishna and use it in his service, and that's true renunciation. So in other words, that's dovetailing the desires for Krishna's service. So like this verse has said, there will be unlimited desires like rivers flowing into the ocean. But if we don't have to suppress these desires, but we use these desires in the service of Krishna, then they become spiritualized, and then that helps us to connect with Krishna. And of course, connecting with Krishna, we become fully blissful. So another thing that's also that Srila Prabhupada talked about in this context, he says, our position is we are constituted of this body. Body means the senses, and the controller of the senses of what is so-called driver of the senses is the mind. And mind is conducted, thinking, feeling, and willing. So Prabhupada says, yes, we have fallen down. So how have we fallen down? Fallen down to the platform of sense enjoyment. So sense enjoyment is the desires for enjoying the material objects of the senses. And we have, we have the five senses and the five working senses. Therefore, you have to begin rising up from the senses, controlling of the senses. This is the way of self-realization. Either you practice yoga or practice bhakti, devotional service. The beginning is to control the senses. So, you have even in the Ashtanga yoga, you have the niyamas, and all those, the rules and regulations. Even in Bhakti Yoga, we have the rules and regulations. We have the 4 regulative principles, waking up in the morning. So in one way, you have to control the senses. Even if you are in the material world and you have to work, people work so very hard. They have to control their senses. They have to wake up very early to go to job, to work. So what are you controlling the senses for? Temporary sense enjoyment, which is going to bind you, or for permanent relief. So the yogis and other methods, they are trying to control the senses by force. So this is important. Are they doing, is it natural or is it by force? So the yogis, they are trying to do it by force. I shall go to the Himalayas And I shall not see many more beautiful women. I shall close down my eyes. These are forceful, because even if you do close your eyes or you go to the Himalayas, your mind can still go to so many places, as you know. I'm sure, like sometimes when we chant our japa or we go, of course, the holy name is spiritual, but sometimes when we're doing this by force, even because of our so much addiction and habit of the connecting with the sense objects, they come in our mind. So even if we close our sense and we stop, still sometimes our mind can be attracted to this. So these are forceful. You cannot control your senses. There are many instances. You don't require to go to Himalayas. You just remain in Los Angeles City and engage your eyes to see Krishna. You are more than a person who has gone to the Himalayas. You'll forget all other things. This is our process. You don't need to change your position. So the example is here, if you see in the many itihasas and the shastras, you see that there's many rishis and many great sages. They have done so much penance, thousands and thousands of years, hard penance which we can't even imagine, a lot of penances like, surrounding yourself by fire in the middle of the summer. You can imagine just going out normally in the summer right now. It's so hot. But imagine sitting in that heat, summer hot, and surrounding yourself with fire. At the same time, in the winter, doing their meditation in the cold rivers in the middle of the winter. You know how it is in Vrindavan in the middle of the winter. And, unimaginable penances. So even with such rishis, just by the tinkling of the bells of Menaka or the Apsaras, their mind was agitated because they were forcefully suppressing their sense gratification. Whereas if you see devotees like Haridas Thakur, when the prostitute came and tried to seduce him, because he didn't try to suppress his senses, but he was so much in love with Krishna and with his holy name. It was so natural for him. He didn't even try. He had so much love. As we say, in Brahma Samhita, premanjana chudita bhakti vilochanena. His eyes were anointed with the love of Krishna, that he couldn't see anything but Krishna. So when the prostitute came, he could only see Krishna in her. So that desire was not able to come. When he, even some people, they will want to avoid that because they don't want to get a bad name, even if they have their control. They'll be like, okay, please go away. I don't want to be known to be associating with such type of people. We shouldn't associate. But because he had so much love in his eyes, he had so much love from the holy name, that he could only see Krishna in her. And as a result of association with him, instead of him being lured by her, she became a devotee of Krishna. And again, just like it is explained, just like a lover, when they love somebody, they see that lover within everything. Wherever they go, wherever they walk, wherever they eat something, they think about that lover. Oh, my lover would love this. Oh, this is such a beautiful place. My lover would love to see this. And they see their lover in everything they see and everything they do. And that same way, if we develop our love for Krishna with bhakti, then naturally, and again, not a force, naturally, we will love Krishna so much that we see everything in Krishna. And the objects of our senses cannot bind us because it will happen naturally. And our natural position is thus, Satchidananda Vigraha, that's the form of the Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindam Sarvakarana Karanam. His body is made of Satchidananda, and our eternal body is also made of Satchidananda. And our natural inclination is to love Krishna and to see Krishna in everyone. So being a devotee and having that bhakti, that it comes natural. It's not a force. Srila Prabhupada also says, again, continuing with the Yukta Vairagya of Rupa Goswami, you don't require to change your position. So do whatever you do. You engage your ears in hearing Bhagavad Gita as it is, you'll forget all the nonsense. You engage your eyes to see the beauty of the deity of Krishna. You engage your tongue for tasting Krishna Prasad. And you engage your legs to come to the temple. You engage your hands to work for Krishna. You engage your nose to smell the flowers offered to Krishna. Then where your senses will go, he's captivated all around. The perfection is sure. You don't require to control your senses forcibly. Don't see, don't do it, don't do it. You have to change the engagement, the status. That will help you. So in the same context, King Kulakshekara also has a beautiful verse, which I'd like to share. I'm sure many of you know. Let me just open that up. जिह्वे कीर्तया केशवं मूररिपुं चेतो भज श्रीधरं पाणिद्वन्द्वसमर्चयाच्युतकथा श्रोत्रद्वयत्वं शृणु कृष्णं लोकय लोचनाद्वयहरेर्गच्छाङ्घ्रियुग्मालयं जिघ्रघ्राणमुकुन्दपादतुलसीं Murdanamadoksajam. O tongue, praise the glories of the Lord, Keshava. O mind, worship the enemy of Mura. O hands, serve the Lord of Shri. Shri is Lakshmi, Devi. O ears, hear the topics of Lord Achyuta. O eyes, gaze upon Shri Krishna. O feet, go to the temple of Lord Hari. O nose, smell the tulsi buds on Lord Mukunda's feet. O head, bow down to Lord Adokshaja. So Prabhupada really liked to quote King Kulashekara a lot of times. He has some very beautiful verses, and he was a very great devotee of Krishna. He was a king, but still he had so much love for the Lord, and he wrote many verses to praise the Lord. He was so much engaged, actually, even when they were reading the Ramayana. He was so much into it. He, at the time when they were kidnapping Sita, he was ready to take his full army to go and fight Ravana right then and there. He was so immersed in that. So this is the mindset of the devotee. And Srila Prabhupada has actually arranged our whole program in the temple in such that we can engage everything, all our senses in the service of Krishna. We have, in the morning we can smell the flowers, we can enjoy Krishna Prasadam, we can see the beautiful form of deity, we can use our legs to go see the temple of Krishna every morning. We can, water the tulsi, we can hear Krishna Katha. Srila Prabhupada made it so that we have, Bhagavatam class in the morning, Bhagavad Gita class in the evening. He called it our ISKCON sandwich. So we do whatever we have to do in the day, but the morning we get to hear about Krishna, and in the evening before we go to sleep we get to hear about Krishna. We get to, chant his holy names in the morning program. So if we follow all this, Srila Prabhupada actually said if we follow the morning program, we will have no problems, because, we'll be so immersed in this Krishna consciousness. Another thing that Srila Prabhupada was talking about, again, he said the same thing. Now here's the difference. Lord Shiva, he is the greatest of the demigods. He was also allured by Parvati, and as a result of that attraction, the boy Kartikeya was born. That was what is called conspiracy of the demigods, that unless one son is born out of the semina of Lord Shiva, it is impossible to conquer the demons. So Kartikeya is considered the commander-in-chief of the demigods. But here, another example, Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was a young boy, about 24 years old, and he was chanting Hare Krishna. And the landlord in the village, he was very much envious of Haridas Thakur. He conspired and engaged one prostitute to defy him. So the prostitute agreed, and at the dead of night, with very beautiful dress, and she was young, and she tried to captivate Haridas Thakur, but he was not captivated. That is the difference. A Krishna-conscious person, even an ordinary person, not on the level of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, he's never conquered by Maya. But one who is not fully Krishna conscious, either he may be Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, he'll be conquered by Maya. What to speak of others? That is the position. So again, in the Brahma Samhita, it's stated, Premanjana churata bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintam gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shama Sundar. Radha Sham Sundar ki. See, we have Radha Sham Sundar right here in Vrindavan. Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their hearts of hearts with the eyes of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So that Prem Anjana. Anjana means like, we have kajal. Nowadays, only women wear kajal, but in the olden days, actually, it was considered as a medicine. Anjana is actually a preparation to remove the excess kapha from the eyes and also protect it from the excess dry heat. And both men and women were supposed to wear this anjana, this kajal. So as devotees, it's a requirement that we should have the prem anjana, the love, the anjana, the ointment of love of bhakti. And when we have this anjana, the prem anjana on our eyes, we can see Sham Sundar, we can see Krishna in our hearts all the time. And he will always be with us. And the pure devotees, we develop and have that devotion by having Krishna in our hearts all the time. Only pure devotees, Santa, so when they're saying Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu, Santa means the devotees, the Santas, the saints, whose eyes are anointed with pure love, can see the form of Sham Sundar, Krishna, who is otherwise inconceivable, Achintya Guna Swarupam. Krishna, Lord Krishna is Achintya. We can't even conceive his potency. We can't even conceive him. It's not possible with these material eyes and the material senses. But only the santas, the pure devotees, which type of pure devotees? Who have premanjana, who have the ointment of love in their eyes. They can see Sham Sundar. And the only eyes of devotion is nothing but the eyes of unalloyed spiritual self of the jiva. So that's what Prabhupada said. What is the eye of devotion? It's nothing but the eye of unalloyed spiritual self of the jiva, or in other words, our eternal constitutional position. Because it's not really something that we are striving for, of course it is, but this is just, we're trying to come back to our natural position. It's a natural state. Our natural state is to have this premanjana and to have Krishna within our hearts. So this process is a very simple process. If we can try to develop that love of Krishna, again, not force, not try, okay, I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that and I shouldn't, do all these things and I have to control this and suppress this. No, if we naturally develop the love for Krishna, following the processes of previous acharyas, following the process that Srila Prabhupada has given you, then naturally our natural state will come and we'll develop that love of Krishna and be able to see Krishna within our hearts, Sham Sundar. If we can anoint our eyes with the premanjana, then we can come to that level. And again, Maya is so strong. She don't think that anyone can come and defeat Maya. But if we have that premanjana, if we have the Krishna in our heart, we don't have to defeat Maya. Naturally, Maya cannot come near us. She won't come near us because she sees that we are servants of Krishna and we're desiring to associate with Krishna in that way. So basically, it's a state of consciousness. The spiritual, in the spiritual life, and the materialistic person, it may look like they're doing the same things. The materialistic person is very, very busy doing whatever they need to do, and the spiritual person is also very, very busy doing what they need to do. But the difference is the intention and their consciousness. What are they doing it for? Are they doing it for sense gratification, or are they doing it as the love, as a service to Krishna? So I think that's all what needed to be said. Is there any questions or comments that you'd like to say?
wondering that we have seen Lord Shiva as a topmost Vaishnava, and here the example was that he was also kind of defeated by his wife. So of course there's a hidden meaning,
Yes.
depth to it, but looks like I don't understand this part, that how Haridas-thaṁ, who is Brahma, is more than Lord Shiva.
Yeah, so even Srila Prabhupada explains here that Brahma, even Brahma, he cannot come to that platform, but Haridas Thakur was Brahma. But again, Haridas Thakur came in this form just to get that love of God. Because Brahma, his position, he has a different service for Krishna. And he can't just leave everything and, just chant the holy name. Of course, he is doing that, but he has different duties as his seva to the Lord. But again, he has to take birth and death. But Haridas Thakur, he was 24 hours, in association with the Lord, and he was the example of the pure bhakti. And he was, again, the Brahma, he was giving the opportunity by Krishna to get to that level of service. And Lord Shiva, again, there's different forms of Lord Shiva, Sadashiva, and different other forms. The Sadashiva is a form of Shiva where he's never birth or death, he's eternal. We have other forms of Shiva where he's created from Brahma. So he has that so-called birth in this material world. So in that Brahma, he's showing this, and he performs that service for Lord Krishna. So that's a little bit, although he is a pure devotee, higher than that, but Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. Let's see what he exactly says over here. So basically, he was doing, this was happened because he was, convinced by the demigod, so he can, they can have a son which is conquered. So it is a lila. Even they say that he was bewildered by the Mohini Murti also. So in many times he was eventually bewildered. So, but they are on a different path. They're not completely in the pure devotional service as, for example, Haridas Thakur. So, and again, this is also, the Leela is inconceivable. For example, Brahma, we have so many instances of Brahma as well, and Indra as well. But again, they are situated in a different seva, and in the heavenly planets where they're still in the material capacity, in the material world. The demigods are all in the material world, and they have to take care of the different material energies. But when they're in, for example, situations like Haridas Thakur, even though they're in the material world, but they're fully spiritualized, fully, in love with Krishna, that the Maya cannot affect them. Does that answer the question a little bit? Okay, thank you. Yeah, see, with even the demigods, the intention was not to develop love of Godhead for conquering the demons or whatever, is to secure their position. So that's also, even though they're highly above us, again, that's also the plan of Krishna. But then with Haridas Thakur, his whole, every soul, every cell of his body was just full of love of Krishna. So that bhakti is what we're aiming for and what we desire. So Srila Prabhupada said, if we desire, it can even happen in a second, if we really, really desire from our heart. And it doesn't matter whether, if you're a sweeper or if you're a king or anyone, if you have that desire and you use your 100%, your energy in pleasing Krishna, whether it's, taking care of a whole country, or a whole world, or just sweeping your one room. But if you're doing it to please Krishna and you're doing it for the satisfaction of Krishna, that's what attracts Krishna and develops that relationship with him. Is that clear? Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, thank you so much. श्री भगवद गीता की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि गौर।